özellikle son süreçte bazı uluslararası yayın organlarında Ukrayna'nın barışa ulaşabilmesi için topraklarından taviz vermesi gerektiği yönünde yorumlar yapıyor. Tabii buradaki atıf açıkça Kırım kastediliyor burada. Ve Yarımada'daki yaşayan Ukrayna vatandaşları da bizlere gönderdikleri mesajlarda, yorumlarda oldukça endişeli olduklarını söylüyorlar. Buna mukabil Kırım Tatarlarının resmi organı Kırım Tatar Milli Meclisi de Ukrayna'da toprak bütünlüğü noktasında her zaman Kırım'ın Ukrayna toprak bütünlüğü içerisinde
from the point of view of territorial integrity, always insists on full territorial integrity, and shall there be any decision on Crimea, it must be between Ukraine and the Crimean Tatars, the people who live there. And apart from that, we know that you always express an unwavering support to territorial integrity, including Crimea. But as I have said in the beginning, the people who live on the temporarily occupied territories have certain worries on what this negotiation process will lead to. And if there will be certain requests on territorial concessions, what will Ukraine do? What will be your position? Our position that I can represent today as a guarantor of constitution, our position is in the constitution of Ukraine. Crimea is part of Ukraine. Turkey, thanks God, supports this position, understands it, supports UN Charter, supports that Crimea is Ukrainian peninsula. President Erdogan personally always begins the conversations with me when we speak about the matters of Ukrainian territorial integrity. He always says that I yet again reiterate to you that I support territorial integrity of Ukraine. We do not recognize temporarily occupied territories as Russian. The Crimean Peninsula is Ukraine, and he always supports it, and I'm grateful for that. This is I have such position, he has such position, and the majority of the world has such position. That's it. So we cannot speak about territorial things. That would be to violate our constitution. The issue of territories, what's going on with them, how to restore our integrity, what about the humanitarian crisis on the temporarily occupied territories? Yes, we are ready, we are willing, we need to discuss it. There are many details, but with all the talks, in all the talks, I underscore it, and this is my supposition. We will not legally recognize the occupied territories as Russian. This is Ukrainian soil.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Could you give us much more details? AFP, Agence France Presse. Thank you so much. Could you give us a bit more details about your discussions with President Erdogan, and what did you suggested for finding a solution to this blocked situation?
When people don't want to get the result, when people don't want to talk, when people don't want to resolve everything only with weapons, there is war. And when there is a war and we see no end to it, the people come to diplomacy so that there is no such thing as you say, so that there is no dead end, no gridlock. So you must make steps to bring peace closer as much as you can. Everything you can do to maximize pressure on the aggressor in various ways. That is to strengthen Ukraine with weapons, strengthen Ukrainian defenses, security guarantees for Ukraine, to pressure the party that is not willing to end the war. And by the way, the position of the United States of America, you saw in the very beginning that position of President Trump was pressure on both sides. That is true, and I believe that we were being pressured more than Russia. This is my position, but Ukraine, step by step, demonstrated that believe us, the issue is not about Ukraine. Ukraine is just standing strong, fighting for itself. We just have no intention to lose our lives and land. That is the answer, but it does not mean that we are an aggressor, and step by step we have confirmed it on various diplomatic platforms, agreeing to many various compromises, because the fact that now everybody is speaking about the full ceasefire as an important step for Ukraine, it was also a compromise without any conditions. We have many conditions to the aggressor, but if we agreed, if the United States of America made certain steps and we are in dialogue, we accepted. And not only these steps were made by Ukraine. Many of the diplomatic steps we made. To come to the format that could even a tiny little bit bring us closer to the end of the war, but this cannot be unilaterally, only from one end, and the pressure cannot be only directed one way, which is why we very much want that there is a demonstration of pressure against Russia, against Putin, sanctions, European sanctions, American sanctions, at the very least sanctions.
First of all, we are good friends and partners, and I don't want to go further to details about our conversation, because we had big agenda of our also bilateral relations between our countries, and different directions of industries, and which are very important for us, and how to strengthen us. And we spoke also about the coalition of willingness, about the security on the sea, about grain corridor. We had big bilateral agenda. We spoke some hours about a lot of things, but of course the priority is peace. The priority is ceasefire. The priority is to be here today. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm underlining it again and again, the high level of representatives of our group. We have what to do at home. You know, that's it. But we spoke about a lot of things, and mostly all the things about the level of Russian group and their willingness to finish the war, and about ceasefire. Everybody support. By the way, 30 days it's nothing, but everybody supported, like, you know, the first step. And even you see, and even global South, we've been balancing all these years of this war between us and Russia, and they've been not on our side. But you see, even global South, you see their messages, China and other Latin America and other countries who are very supportive. The first step, unconditional ceasefire, 30 days. Everybody support this idea. Please.
24 канал попереду.
Channel 24. Adriana Kucher, Channel 24. Could you please hint about the time of the start of the talks in Istanbul? Because, you know, Russians, I do not know, which is why I'm saying it. I believe that, you know, how shall I put it? There is disrespect to all parties of these negotiations, because there is no time of the meeting. There was a proposal of direct talks today in Turkey. You remember it. Afterwards, there have been only changes. This is what I see. Which is why our team, yes, it will be in Istanbul. And some people I think are already there, and just in case, they will be there tomorrow. because heavens forbid, when they depart home, somebody will appear there. So to ensure there are no surprises, they'll be there today and tomorrow. And could you please tell if there will be a third party as a mediator between Ukraine and Russia? The United States of America must be, and Turkish side as well. Next question, please, Anadolu Center. The leaders normally during negotiations they normally make final decision in the end of negotiations. Why have you decided to raise stakes so much and decided to do it initially? Is it normal for diplomacy? The occupation of 20% of our territory, do you consider that to be diplomacy? The massive mass graves, do you think that is diplomacy? The forceful deportation of 20,000 Ukrainian children to Russia, does that resemble diplomacy? There are many things. I don't want to be impeached that he started to chirp about his Ukrainian narratives, but I just wanted to say that for a long time we're no longer in conventional diplomacy, because we have people who were not in diplomatic way came to destroy us, our values and our families. We have what we have, and I don't want us to have such a historic dialogue where it all started, because I will have my opinion, the Russians will have theirs, and because of this, because there will be many of such questions. Look at the Russian the Russian signals. Why do you think they make such signals? To not end the war. Because all of us, you respect your language, you respect your national flag, your people, your history, and we do it just the same, and the Russians as well. But they also want to bring their history to us, to impose it on us, and destroy us. So which is why everywhere, in every war, there must be first step. Just as President Trump says, to stop the killing, we support it. To stop the killing. That is full unconditional ceasefire. And the leaders are indeed not needed for it. But there must be political will of the leader, and this is possible to do. And this is not the war that happened 100 years ago. There are media, technologies. You can not meet in person, not to complicate things, and agree to ceasefire. And then to speak about monitoring, so that we don't go deep into details of all this infrastructure, of all the way that will lead to the end of the war. Because if we now start to argue, quarrel about the details, years of war can pass, which is why everybody says, let us try ceasefire, 30-day ceasefire. And when one side, and this is one side, now all the world united around full and unconditional ceasefire. There is nobody else who says, let us first speak on how to end the war. Everybody agrees because this will stop the killing. This is a fact. There will be violations, but there will be no massiveness. There will be certain gunshots, but the artillery will be silent. You can lie in certain things, but about small arms. But ballistics will not strike, because all this can be seen because of the technologies. And just couple more questions, please. AP and then Sky.
Associated Press.
Associated Press. If you succeed, if the delegation succeeded in meeting, this will be a first contact in 3 years. Some people might consider it to be a progress. What do you personally think? Is this a progress in negotiation process? We are ready for it. The delegation will be sent there. It's already been sent. The delegation is ready for it. Turkey is ready. Their delegation is also been on the way. The American delegation is partially there, partially it's still on the way. The meeting can happen today, can be tomorrow. We have ensured everything on our end. Everybody is willing for the demonstration by the other side, by the Russians.
Не можу сказати.
I cannot tell. The contents of the meeting is important. Sky News, please. Although the Russians, after they hear that we will be at the meeting, they can say that, you know, we have some other things to do. It can happen, so we do not know.
News. Had Vladimir Putin come today and sat round a table with you, what would you have said to him? And the fact that he hasn't come, what does it mean for this stage of the peace process? Can you even call it a peace process now?
Ми всі хочемо, щоб
We all want the peace process to start. I think that the meetings on the NSA levels took place, and there everybody draws certain maps on the potential peace agreement and the end of the war, and we can not support this roadmap. Yes, we cannot agree about something, but when the teams are working, that is still nonetheless a movement in the right direction. That is a movement of diplomacy, which is why I would say that certain meetings take place, and this gives us a lot of hope that the Europeans united this way, and what wasn't there before is that us, Europe, America, we are all together in this. We can argue about certain things, but nonetheless, on these tracks, we work together. We all want it, and which is why when Russians say that let's have direct negotiations, I believe that this is a right one. So the direction overall, the chosen direction, is right. What will be with it, I don't know. If I had met on the level of leaders, I am sure there wouldn't be any arguments to not agree to try for a certain period to agree about ceasefire. And I think that we would definitely come out with such a result, or maybe with some other result as well. I cannot say. And yes, please, now really the last question, please, News Live. Thank you, Helena Stapovets, News Live. You have said that the people from these services are here. Why there is no Budanov here? And speaking about the end of the war, the American intelligence in particular says about the new offensive operations of Russia as of the beginning of the summer. So which details do we have? We have representatives of all intelligence services. Our external intelligence, the main intelligence directorate, and the representatives of the security service of Ukraine. The main thing is security, which is why this bloc is led by one person, head of the SSU of Ukraine. Just as there is a head of general staff present, but there is no chief of defense, no commander-in-chief, because everybody has their duties. Yes, we could bring everybody here, But it seems to me that this group is sufficient. What exactly? I apologize, the interpreter doesn't hear. Yes, I have recently answered that question. Honestly, they have started their offensive operations on. They launched it on various axes, and the main axis was Sumy direction. There they have amassed 67,000 troops. We have undertaken certain steps so that not to allow them to unite, which is why they are working on reinforcements, on how to regroup and to do what they've chosen to do, which means that they want to have this offensive. It's understandable for us. Honestly, our military formulated this way that they are on a permanent offensive, and this has been happening for the couple months. Thank you, colleagues, for such interest. This is the end of the press conference. Thank you.
Reuters live service. This